Okay. This problem that we're solving for is a system of equations, which just means I have more than one equation and more than one letter that I'm working for. In this case, I have an x and a y in both equations, and I have the two of them. Now, I like to solve equations, systems of equations, with elimination, meaning I'm going to get one of the letters to disappear, well, cancel out, and then I solve for both letters. So, it doesn't matter which letter I get to match up. I have to first make sure that I have my x's with my x's, my y's with my y's, equals with the equals, and numbers with numbers. It doesn't matter which order, but they need to be lined up. In this case, my x is with my x, my y with my equal signs are together, and my plain old numbers are together. So this is all set up so that I can start looking at getting stuff to match, and so that I can get canceling out. It doesn't matter which letter I pick. I can pick the x's or the y's to match, and if I look at just the x's, I'm looking for ways to get the coefficients to the same number. And if I look at the 3 and the 2, they both will go into 6. So if I change them both to 6's, they would be able to cancel each other out. If I look at the y's, I have a 3 and a 6. Yet again, they both go into 6. In that case, I would only have to change this 3 to a 6 to get things to match. But I'm going to do it a slightly longer way, just so that you can get used to seeing how you can change both equations if you need to. All right, so I'm going to get this to become a 6. To get a 3 to 6, I'd multiply. And in this case, I'm going to multiply the whole equation because I have to change it. I can change the looks, not the values of this. I'm going to multiply it by a 2. The bottom equation, I need to get this 2 to be a 6, but I also need it to be the opposite, so I want it to be a negative 6, so that it'll cancel out with the top x. So, to get a 2 to be a 6, I'll multiply it by 3. And I got to think, everything here is positive, so I need one of them to be positive, one to be negative, so I'm just going to multiply this by a negative 3. Okay, distributing is what we're going to do to get rid of the parentheses, so I'm going to multiply this. 2 times 3 is 6x. 2 times 3y is plus 6y. 2 times 15 equals 30. Okay, do the same thing with the bottom, only this time I'm distributing a negative 3 through. Negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. Negative 3 times 2y is negative 18y. And negative 3 times 22 is a negative 66. Okay, so I still have my x's lined up with my x's, my y's with my y's, and my plain old numbers together. And what I'm going to do next, since I've got my coefficients to match, is I'm going to just combine my terms down, in this case add. I really think of adding always when I'm combining. So a 6x minus a 6x, that'll be 0. It's not 0x, it's just 0. Canceling out the x's. So, and then a 6y minus an 18y is a negative 12y. Okay? And then combine on this side, I have 30 minus 66 is going to be a negative 36. We're making progress. We got our x's to cancel out. We still have to get the y by itself. So I've got negative 12y equals negative 36. To get the y by itself, I need to divide both sides by the coefficient of the y. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 12. Negative 12 divided by negative 12 is just 1, so it's 1y, which I'm just going to write as y, equals. A negative divided by a negative is positive, so I can put my plus to remind myself that I've looked at the signs. 36 divided by 12 is 3. I'm almost done now. I know what my y value of my answer is. I still need to find my x. So what I'm going to do is take this answer and plug it into the y for one of my equations. Doesn't matter which one you pick. You'll get the same answer for the x with either one. If you have positives, negatives, you can look for that. Otherwise, look for numbers that may be easier to work with. In this case, both equations look pretty much the same for level of difficulty, so just for ease, I'm just going to take this and plug it into the bottom one. So to do that, I'm going to go 2x plus 6. Instead of writing the y, I'm going to substitute in a 3 equals 22. Okay, simplifying my equation, I have to do the parentheses first, so 6 times 3 is 18. And I still have the 2x on this side, equals 22. My goal is to get the letter by itself. So I have to get rid of there's no letters on both sides, so I have to get rid of anything added or subtracted to the letter. So in this case, it's a plus 18. To get rid of it, I move the 18 over the other side by writing it underneath itself. Instead of a positive, I want it to be the opposite. So minus 18 on this side. Whatever I do to one side, I always have to do the same on the other side. So now I have 2x equals 22 minus 18 is 4. Divide by the coefficient, so 2, divide by 2, and you get x, because 2 divided by 2 is just 1x, equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now I know what my x is, and I know what my y is. The final answer that I'm going to get is I wanted to know where these two equations, where they intersect if I was thinking the graph. And the final answer, since it's x and y's, I'm going to write as a point, and I'm going to say x, which is 2, and my y, which is 3. And there is the answer.